Well, welcome back to another travel news episode. I'm your host, Robert Witham. I scour the news for stories of interest to travelers and those who love the great outdoors, so you don't have to. And in each of these episodes, I try to help you stay informed about what's going on out there. So, diving into our first story today, we've talked several times recently about the increase in visitors at national parks, national monuments, other public lands. Well, more than 1 million people visited Yellowstone National Park in July this year. This is, according to National Park Service, is the most visited July on record at Yellowstone National Park. The number of visitors are up 13% from July 2020 and up 15% from July 2019. Both of those numbers, visitation numbers in both of those years were for July were slightly fewer than 1 million visitors. July was also the most visited month ever at Yellowstone National Park. In addition, it was the first time visitation exceeded 1 million people in a particular month. More than 2.6 million people have visited Yellowstone already in 2021. Superintendent Cam Shawley said that we are actively developing defensible short and long-term solutions with our partners which focus on protection of park resources, improving visitor experience, and considering impacts on park staffing, infrastructure, and our gateway communities and regional economies. If you want to know more about what all that means and what some of the actual things they're considering or working on at Yellowstone, there's a link in the video description, as well as two links for other stories mentioned in this video. Now, moving over to California, teachers and administrators are waiting for students to arrive at Our Lady of Lourdes School in LA on Wednesday morning last week when they encountered a surprise visitor. A coyote walked into the school and entered an 8th grade classroom. Apparently the coyote wanted to go to school. Wildlife expert Jennifer Brent said that the extreme drought is driving wildlife like coyotes to leave their natural habitat and to enter neighborhoods in search of food and water. Animal control was called and the coyote was expelled from school. And wild horse roundups have been increasing this summer amid the ongoing drought. One recent roundup removed hundreds of wild horses from a herd in Utah. Land managers say the roundups and removals are necessary due to a lack of water and vegetation because of the drought. Captured horses are brought to government pastures and corrals before being made available for adoption. Some of the horses also end up being used for law enforcement purposes, like by the U.S. Border Patrol. Bureau of Land Management oversees the wild horse population in much of the West. They're responsible for managing about 250 million acres of public land, and that includes the wild horses. Wild horse activists who are opposed to the roundups argue that the Bureau of Land Management is using the drought as an excuse to remove horses in favor of livestock grazing. And if you spend any time on BLM and Forest Service land, especially out here in the West, you'll see that there are times when they're most commonly, in my experience, cattle, but also you'll find sheep grazing, and then the BLM and Forest Service contracts with local ranchers, and in exchange for grazing fees, they're allowed to graze their livestock on public lands. Sometimes, especially in cases of a drought, there may be conflicts as there just isn't enough water and vegetation to support grazing by livestock and wild horses and other wildlife like pronghorn or deer or elk and so on. Fertility treatments are also used to control horse populations, wild horse populations, but that does require darting the horses one at a time, at least annually, for it to be effective. And then without fertility treatments or roundups, wild horse herds may double in size in as little as 4 to 5 years. So obviously when you deal with something like a major drought, that there are going to be some conflicts between how to manage wild horse herds and which way is the best to control the populations, as well as whether horses should be prioritized over cattle. So these are ongoing debates that have been active for many years now. Those debates are not new, even though this specific drought situation is becoming a more acute problem. Well, that's what I have for today for this episode of Travel News. Hope you enjoyed these stories. If you're not subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button. You'll be notified when I post new videos. I try to post new videos Monday through Friday, at least around noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, and occasionally on weekends as well. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.
The songs come from his heart, he's an old troubadour. He'll tell his tale near and far about living and loving and trusting the Lord. Just a cowboy and his guitar.